Hi and welcome. My name is Stephanie and today I have a third trimester morning yoga practice to share with you. We're just going to slowly move our bodies, gently waking up our joints and muscles, trying to work on any kinks or discomforts we may have woken up with today. When you're ready, grab your yoga mat and meet me there. We'll begin in Sukhasana. So find a comfortable seat. You might need to move some of that junk in the trunk out of the way so you can feel grounded through your sits bones. Make sure you're sitting up tall. Your neck is over your shoulders and your shoulders are over your hips. From here, we're going to start with just gently warming up our necks. On an inhale, lift the gaze. As you exhale, turn to look over your right shoulder. Just gently breathing into the side of your neck. We're not looking behind us here. We're not looking for a deep twist. We're just slowly warming up. On your next inhale, look up overhead. And again, as you exhale, turn over your left shoulder this time. Again, this isn't a deep twist. We're not looking behind us. We're just looking over that left shoulder, breathing into the side of our neck. Your next inhale, let's come back to center. This time, let's drop our right ear over to our right shoulder. You might stay here, or for a little bit of a deeper stretch, you might bring your right hand to rest on the side of your head near your left ear. If you want to go even deeper, you can bring your left arm out to the side, just bringing fingertips to the mat. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths. If you have that hand resting on the top of your head, make sure it really is just resting there. We're not trying to pull ourselves down towards the ground, just using the body weight of our arm to find a slightly deeper stretch. On an inhale, slowly release, coming back to neutral. Again, take an inhale here before dropping that left ear over to that left shoulder. You might stay here, or you might bring your left hand to rest gently on top of your head by your right ear. You can also bring your right arm out to the side, fingertips to the mat, getting a slightly deeper stretch through that neck. Just stay here for a few breaths. Maybe notice any differences between your left and your right side. On your next inhale, let's come back to neutral. This time, let's lift the arms up overhead. As you exhale, drop the right palm down to the mat, bringing the left arm overhead, bicep by the ear. Finding our side angle stretch. You might just have your fingertips, right fingertips on the mat. You might be able to bring your right forearm to the mat, or you might be somewhere in between today. Take whatever depth of side body stretch feels right for you. Make sure you're keeping your chest open, gaze is neutral out in front, or even lifted towards the sky. Stay here for one more breath. And on an inhale, lift yourself back up to neutral. Let's inhale the arms up overhead again. This time dropping our left palm towards our mat, bringing our right arm overhead. Again, you might be here on your left fingertips. You might be able to bring your left forearm to the mat, or you might be somewhere in between. Make sure that your chest is open, you're not rolling forward. Your gaze should be neutral out in front or lifted towards the sky. Again, we'll stay here for a few breaths. Again, you might notice the differences between your two sides. Take one more long inhale and exhale here. For inhaling back up to neutral. This time we'll come forward into our tabletop position. Take a moment to get settled. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under those hips. As we take our cat-cow. On an inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, lift the gaze. As you exhale, round the spine, tuck the pelvis, drop the gaze. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, lift the gaze. And exhale, tuck the pelvis, round the spine, drop the gaze. Keep moving at your own pace here. Finding whatever organic movement feels right for you today. Make sure when you're in that cow pose that you're not dropping the belly too far. We don't want to try and bring our belly all the way down to our mat. That can be too much pressure on our abdominal muscles. So really your cow pose, try and emphasize the opening in the chest and with the gaze rather than in the low back. In your cat, you might sink back towards a child's pose. You might look over one shoulder and tilt your hips out to the side. And you might look over the other shoulder, wagging your hips. Again, just finding whatever movement here feels good as we continue to wake up the spine. Wherever you are, take one more cat-cow, dropping the belly, opening the chest, lifting the gaze, before tucking the pelvis, rounding the spine, dropping the gaze, and then coming back to neutral. From here, you might bring your hands out a few inches further in front as we tuck the toes under and lift the hips up to our downward facing dog. You want to take a wider stance here. In our third trimesters of pregnancy, we've got big bellies. We need a wide base to make sure we feel stable and to have enough room for our growing belly and baby. Your hands and your feet might be as wide as your mat here. Again, take whatever movements feel good for you. You might bend one knee generously and then the other. You might look under one shoulder. You might look under the other. Doesn't matter how far down your heels come towards the mat, especially first down dog of the day, early morning, your body's not warmed up. This is not going to be your quote-unquote best down dog, likely. If you've had a wiggly dog, take a moment to find stillness, breathing into the back body. Before exhaling back to our tabletop position. Again, take a moment to get settled. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. On an inhale, we're going to step the left toes behind us. We're just going to slowly rock back and forth here, breathing in to our left calf and the back of our left leg. You might inhale, come up onto the toes. For exhaling, pressing back through that left heel. Just rocking and finding whatever movement feels right for you. Let's take a moment to pause, pressing through our back heel. On your next inhale, finding your neutral tabletop, lift the left leg up and then bend the knee so that the sole of your left foot is pointed towards the sky. We're just going to take some gentle pulsing here, pushing that left sole of the foot towards the ceiling or the sky, whatever's above you right now. Just waking up the glutes. Make sure your belly is drawn in towards your spine. You're trying to maintain a flat back position here. We'll just keep pulsing for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, building a little heat in the morning, 3, 2, 1. Before you bring that left knee back to the earth, let's take a few hip circles, rotating in one direction and then the other. Take one more hip circle before you step those left toes up towards your hands, finding your low lunge. Take a moment to get settled here. Check that your left knee is over that left ankle. Your hands should be on the inside of your left foot, making sure you have enough space for baby. Before bringing your left hands to your left thigh. Again, we're just gonna rock in and out of the pose here. On an inhale, think about lifting and lengthening. As you exhale, you might sink the hips forward, finding a deeper stretch through that right hip flexor. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, sink a little bit deeper into the pose, feeling that nice stretch. One more time, lift and lengthen, and exhale, sink your hips forward, feeling a nice stretch through that right hip flexor. We'll hold here for a few breaths. You can keep your hands on your thighs, but we're not collapsing into our thigh. You should be able to lift your hands up and off without losing the integrity of the pose. Make sure your chest is open here. We're breathing deeply. Let's take one more breath. And exhale, let's bring our hands back to the mat. Bring our left knee back to meet the right, finding our tabletop position. From here, on an inhale, we're gonna step the right toes back this time. And again, we're just gonna rock in and out of this pose, waking up the back of that right leg. On an inhale, you might reach forward, coming up onto your tippy toes. As you exhale, press back through that right heel, finding a nice calf stretch. Inhale, release, and exhale, press through the back of that right leg. Pause back here, pressing through the back of your right heel for one long inhale, and exhale. On your next inhale, with a neutral spine, lift the right leg, bend the knee so that the sole of your right foot is pointed towards the sky. And again, we'll pulse, just moving that right knee up and down a few inches, pressing the sole of our foot towards the ceiling as we build a little heat this morning and wake up our glutes. We're just gonna pulse a little bit longer here. We'll do another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Make sure your belly is pulled in towards your spine. 5, 4. You're pressing evenly through your hands. 3, 2, and 1. Let's take those hip circles on the right, opening your hips in one direction first, and then the other. But we're finally stepping those right toes up to meet the hands, finding our low lunge on the other side. Take a moment to check that your right knee is over your right ankle before bringing your hands to rest on your thigh. Again, we're gonna rock in and out of the pose, taking a moment to find a version of the stretch that feels right for us this morning. On an inhale, think about lifting and lengthening. As you exhale, sink the hips down, finding that nice stretch through our left hip flexors. Inhale, lifting, and exhale, lengthening. One more time, lift and lengthen, and exhale, sinking into a pose, We'll hold here for a few breaths. Again, do a self-check. Make sure you can lift those hands off the thighs. We're not collapsing through our upper body. We're still thinking about lifting and lengthening with our spine. Our chest is open. Breathing deeply here. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands back to the mat. Bring the right knee back. This time, let's bring our big toes together, knees wide. Inhale, drop the belly, open the chest, lift the gaze. And exhale into our child's pose. Take a few breaths here. Breathing into those hips, breathing into your back body. On your next inhale, slowly walk the hands back towards the knees. Bring your knees together. Bring the hands behind you. Your hands might be facing your feet, or they might be facing away from you. As you inhale, open the chest, pressing through your shoulder blades. Try and draw your shoulder blades together almost. As you lift the gaze gently towards the sky. Finding our final chest opener of this morning. Notice how baby's feeling. Sometimes when moms have taken a few moments to move for themselves, babies can grow quiet. Mom's movement can sometimes lull baby to sleep. But sometimes they become really active when mom takes a moment of stillness, especially in a pose like this, where they have plenty of space to move. Take one more inhale here, pressing through the shoulders, finding a wide heart opener, lifting the gaze. Before exhaling, coming back to your knees. We'll take one more inhale here as a class. Bring your hands together in prayer. And as you inhale, bring your thumbs up to meet your third eye. As you exhale, gently bow forward. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you feel a little bit looser and a little bit warmer than you did at the start of class. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I hope to see and practice with you again soon. Bye.